Number 6 is autonomy theater, when space can be a shield. So a lot of people will say, I need to preserve my peace. I need my space. I need autonomy. These are all good and real things. People do need space. People do need to heal, and people do need to be sovereign individuals. Um, I have encountered, though, that if a person truly needs that much space in a relationship, they probably shouldn't be in a relationship. I mean, maybe they can casually date or something like that, but then they are not actually available to truly relate and be very heart connected. And I've seen a lot with clients primarily. I try not to engage with people like this personally in my own intimate relationships, but a lot of clients who have finding other people who use this as a shield, and I believe it's a shield for avoidance, of avoiding the intimacy that they are experiencing with the other person and what that's bringing up for themselves. So a lot of time this autonomy language will spike when some sort of either consistency or kind of labels are requested, and then there's kind of a pushback. And so it's interesting because even then shared passions, what a couple had been doing previously together, it's almost like if you're spending like 6 units of time, it can be dropped down to 4, be dropped down to 3. And that pulling back can be viewed as an avoidance strategy. If we look at the different ways that people can interrelate, whether people have an anxious attachment, an avoidant attachment, or a dysregulated attachment, these different styles of attachment will play out very powerfully. And so we're currently kind of talking about more of an avoidant style. Someone who is more anxiously attached will then ramp that up and want to spend more and more and more time together. I personally, historically, had a much more anxiously attached style due to my childhood trauma, and I still lean towards that. I like to think that it's actually a really lovely thing. I just enjoy spending time with my partners. And so I then will usually tend to have more successful relationships with people who, at least in their past, had some sort of anxious attachment style too. Just we have a lot of surface area. The interrelating is fantastic, but people who have a little bit more of an avoidant strategy will pull back and then use this as a shield in my experience. This can be incredibly painful for your partner, or you in this case, if you're experiencing this, particularly if you even just have a healthy attachment, let alone have an anxious attachment. And I've seen a lot of people then flip over from relatively healthy attachment styles into an anxious attachment style from being with someone with an avoidant attachment style. And I'm not placing blame on this other person. They are wounded, as we all are. Gabor Mate wrote a very, very, very important book called The Myth of Normal, basically stating that everyone at this point is traumatized. Like literally all of us. Not all of us have CPTSD or capital T trauma. And if you do, you can raise your hand. There's things that we can do to help each other heal from those capital T traumas or CPTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. My entire coaching program is based around that as one of its main facets. But even someone who has healthy attachment, maybe they had a really great relationship with their parents, whatever it may be, their community was very strong. If they are with someone who has more of an avoidance strategy for coping with their own interiority, that can seep into their partner and then can encourage a more anxious attached state. And this can be incredibly painful. Luckily, there are protocols around this, but it's very important to understand and be able to label this and to be able to acknowledge when you're experiencing it, and then to start bringing it up in dialogue and to understand that then it may not be a good fit in this moment, and what that other person may need is actually not to be in the relationship and actually just spend time by themselves healing, finding out who they are so they can bring themselves fully to the dynamic and to the relationship and gift themselves into the actual partnership.